Just topics I just want to know. Okay. One second. Yes, Kunchala.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yesterday we have started with the types of biominerals, biomaterials, and biominerals.
Yes.
And then we've seen types of marine biominerals like mollusk, corals, diatoms, and radiolarians.
Yes.
And then we also discussed about how the marine biominerals were acting like biomaterials.
Yes.
We also have gone through the applications of biomedicals, like in bone
Yes.
grafts, implants from coral derived calcium phosphate.
Yes.
And we've also seen biominerals in the field of biomaterials for several reasons. Like one was for biomineralization,
Hmm.
biocompatibility,
Yes.
mechanical properties, controlled mineralization,
Yes.
inspiration for new materials.
Hmm.
We've also seen the marine sources of biocomposite materials, the
Yes.
marine organisms which are abundant source of bio based polymers and bioactive fillers.
Hmm.
And we've seen the polymeric matrix components like the base materials which were chitosan, alginate,
Yes.
agar and carrageenan,
Yes.
collagen and gelatin, and
Yes.
fusidin. And then we've also seen bioactive reinforcements.
Yes.
These are nothing but the fillers or nanoparticles.
Hmm.
Uh, First one was marine derived hydroxyapatite and silica
Yes.
particles, magnesium or calcium carbonates,
Hmm.
seaweed extracted nanoparticles, marine bacterial cellulose.
Okay.
And then, in the context of bioactive compounds and biomaterials, we've also seen that biocomposites play a significant role.
Hmm.
Uh, like natural fiber reinforced composites, polymer mineral composites,
Yes.
nanocomposites, bioactive glass composites, biopolymer composites. And then we've studied about the properties of those biocomposites, that
Yes.
is thermal stability, mechanical strength, antimicrobial degradability, and biocompatibility.
Yes.
And some more we have studied about the bioactive compounds and marine biocomposites, like the
Hmm.
antibacterial peptides, antioxidants, antifouling agents, growth factors, and polysaccharides.
Yes.
We've also taken some case studies like the
Hmm.
fishbone hydroxyapatite chitosan composites,
Yes.
alginate seaweed fiber films for the biodegradable food packaging, and
Okay.
then chitosan bacterial cellulose membranes, which
Yes.
has the antifouling properties for marine coatings.
Yes.
And then we've also seen the advantages of marine based biocomposites like renewable and abundant marine resources, reduced environmental impact, tunable properties for different uses,
Hmm.
inherent biological activities like antioxidant and antibacterial. And then we have seen the challenges and future prospects.
Yes.
Later, we went through the bioactive compounds and biomaterial polymers.
Hmm.
In marine biopolymers, we had alginate, chitin, chitosan, agar, fusidin, carrageenan,
Yes.
gelatin. And then we've seen the marine ecosystem, which provides a rich source of novel and unique biopolymers.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. That's all.
And what about marine
And also the,
conservation?
yes, ma'am. Yeah. And there was also marine conservation that we discussed,
Yes.
which comprised of mainly protecting and preserving to mitigate threats and long-term health and resilience of ocean ecosystems.
Yes.
Also, we've seen the importance of marine conservation and biotechnology, which is like
Yes.
protects biodiversity, sustains bioprospecting, maintains ecosystem services, facilitates ethical research.
Hmm.
This is all we discussed in marine conservation.
Okay. Yes, very good. That's nice. Uh, I will just means give a brief idea about yesterday's marine conservation strategies. Till now, we had discussed that how marine ecosystem is very important for us, but now why there is need of marine conservation, and before that, what is marine conservation? So it is nothing but the protection or preservation of marine ecosystem. The species or they are dependent on the marine ecosystem, their habitat maintenance. It is all about the marine conservation, and this marine conservation is very important for the ecological integrity, and it is very important to ensure that our future generation will utilize all these resources that are involved in the marine ecosystem. After that, the main aim of marine conservation is just to mitigate the threats to marine environment, and it will also promote the long-term health and resilience of the ocean ecosystem. Now, when we talk about marine conservation, there will be protection, there will be restoration, and sustainable management. Now, in marine biotechnology, conservation is not in the ecological way. It is not about ecosystem. It is also about the bioresources that are getting from the marine organisms. So microbes, enzyme, their biomaterial, everything you have to conserve. That is all about marine conservation. After that, we had also discussed about the importance of marine conservation. Marine conservation protects the biodiversity. As we all know that the maximum region is covered by ocean, and ocean consists of variety of or diversity of marine organism, and they will ultimately produce a novel or unique bioactive compound. So we have to preserve the species. Ultimately, we will preserve the bioactive compound like enzyme, then alkaloids, then biominerals, antibiotics, and so on. After that, when we talk about bioprospecting, this conservation sustains the bioprospecting. If we conserve marine ecosystem and species that are present in the marine ecosystem, ultimately we will conserve organism, and these organism will be helpful for the drug discovery, will be helpful for the future perspective with respect to biomaterial. After that, when we talk about marine ecosystem, maintains the ecosystem services. Their conservation is very important for nutrient recycling, carbon sequestration. Yesterday we discussed about carbon sequestration again. At the same time, we all do these things or aspect in a ethical way. Now, today we will start from here. Key aspects of marine conservation. Now, when we talk about marine conservation, which are the important aspect? So, first is biodiversity protection. When we talk about marine conservation, it goes or it focuses on the preservation of biodiversity that is present in marine ecosystem. Now, what is biodiversity? The range of organisms that are present in marine ecosystem, starting from microscopic to large marine mammals. So this biodiversity is all protected when we conserve marine ecosystem. And if we protect the biodiversity, of course, we will maintain the stability of ecosystem and their resilience. After that, second is nothing but habitat preservation. What is habitat? It is nothing but the region where all these marine organisms live. Marine conservation also target the protection of critical marine habitat, like coral reef. Maximum biodiversity is observed here. Mangroves, it is also good region where biodiversity is in huge number. Then seagrass beds are there, coastal wetlands are there. We have to conserve these habitat or these you can say region, and these habitat mainly are very important for the breeding and for the feeding ground for many marine species. Feeding ground means there are many photosynthetic organisms, and on the basis of this photosynthetic organism, other tropic level organisms are dependent. So second was habitat preservation. Third is nothing but fisheries management. When we talk about fisheries management, marine conservation also maintain the fisheries aspect, so that all the fishes that are being used now, they should be useful for our future generation. So how this is implemented by the ecologist, so we can prevent the overfishing, such as we should set a catch limit. After that, regulating fishing gear. So, how many times at the same time in the breeding season we should avoid fishing? So, this is nothing but maintenance of fishing gear. After that, establishing marine protected areas. If you observe that there are possibilities of the species to undergo extinction, you can establish that region as a MPS, that is marine protected areas. So fishing will be restricted. Whenever there will be again maintenance of the number of fishes or maintenance of that particular species, then again you can start fishing, but that should also be in control or within the limit. So that will be a fisheries management. After that, reducing pollution. Marine conservation also aims to reduce the pollution, like plastic debris, agricultural runoff, industrial discharge, oil spill. These are all the pollutant that might be enter in the marine ecosystem, and that might be responsible for the marine conservation. And pollution will ultimately cause harm to the marine ecosystem, marine organism, and therefore it is very important to mitigate these impact, and there will be long term conservation. So first point was biodiversity protection, second was habitat preservation, third is fisheries management, and fourth is reducing pollution. Now fifth is climate change mitigation. Starting from the first day, we are saying that marine ecosystem is very important for all the living organism, directly or indirectly. Now, when we talk about climate change, it is also a major point that is covered by marine conservation, like rising sea temperature, ocean acidification, changes in the ocean circulation. These are all the threats. And because of these threats, marine ecosystem is getting disturbed. So we have to stop all the root causes that are responsible for the rising sea temperature, change pattern in the ocean circulation, ocean acidification. So we have to control all these parameters, and conservation effect mainly aim to reduce the greenhouse emission, and also it promote the resilience of marine organism. After that, there are certain marine protected areas, MPAs. So we can declare some region as a MPAs. Now, these designated areas restrict certain human activities to allow ecosystem to recover and maintain the biodiversity. So we can declare some region or some hotspots or some region where there are possibility of extinction. So we can declare those areas as MPAs, and MPAs can be served as refuges for endangered species. So we can protect that, and ultimately it will enhance the overall ecosystem health. Seventh is scientific research. So if you talk about research or research perspective, we have to understand the marine ecosystem first. After that, we have to, I'm talking about marine conservation, so I have mentioned those points only. We have to identify the threat, because every threat will differ on the basis of the region. So we have to identify which threat is responsible to cause the damage to the marine ecosystem, and accordingly we can do research. At the same time, we have to develop effective conservation strategies. on the basis of region, on the basis of species, conservation strategies will vary. It will not be uniform for all the region. So we have to develop effective strategies, and research of course provide us the knowledge that will be very helpful for the marine conservation measures, and we can implement them and we can conserve the marine ecosystem. Eighth point is international cooperation. We all know that ocean is no boundary, no border. Water, we cannot, ocean water or marine ecosystem, we cannot make the boundary. So it is very important that there should be work in a international way. Our we can say collaborative effort is the best effort, and it is very important that there should be stoppage in the illegal fishing, there should be stoppage in the pollutant entry, and climate change should be controlled. So these are all the aspects. So I'm just giving the overview. Marine conservation, if you talk about marine conservation, there should be involvement of government, there should be involvement of scientists. It is a collaborative work where conservation organizations, then different industries, at the same time, one of the major parties of the involvement of local communities, because they are also responsible to protect the marine ecosystem. So all their collaborative work ultimately conserve the marine ecosystem in a sustainable way. So this is all about key aspect. In the key aspect of marine conservation, first was biodiversity protection, second was habitat preservation, third is fisheries management, then reducing pollution, then climate change mitigation, then marine protected areas, after that scientific research, then international cooperation. So these are all the important aspects that are essential for the marine conservation. Now, if you talk about threats to marine diversity, the first threat is overfishing. So, you can say there are some targeted species that are mostly preferred for the food. So, at that time, the targeted species number get depleted, and ultimately it will disturb the food chain. Second is climate change. And because of climate change, acidification occurs, sea level rise occurs because temperature is rising. After that, coral bleaching occurs. Third will be pollution. When we introduce pollutant like oil, heavy metal, plastic, and there is one more term that is nothing but eutrophication. Now, what is eutrophication? Is there anyone who is knowing the term? What is eutrophication? Okay, Arunima.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Eutrophication is the process. It is where the water bodies that is overly enriched with nutrients and nitrogen and phosphorus, which leads to the overgrowth of algae and other aquatic plants.
Yes. Now, what is eutrophication? Actual growth of plant is very good, but when there is something in excess, it will lead to pollution. So, eutrophication is nothing but when there is excessive presence of algal growth. Algal growth will occur on the surface of water body. When algal growth will occur on the surface, there will be no penetration of sunlight in the inner side of the ocean. So ultimately that will affect the you can say other marine ecosystems organism, and there will be decline in the growth of other organism. So excessive algal growth is nothing but eutrophication. But if you talk about algae, it is very good producer. And we always say that producers are very essential to initiate the food chain or food web, but everything should be in the limit. When algal growth start in growing in excess quantity or excess in number, it will just be present on the surface of ocean. It will cover ocean surface, and sunlight, they will trap sunlight and they will not allow sunlight to reach inside the ocean, and that will ultimately affect the other living organisms that are present in marine ecosystem. So that is nothing but eutrophication. Okay, 1 second. After that, there is habitat loss. When we just disturb the coral reef, seagrass bed, mangrove, when there is destruction of these all habitats are hotspot for the marine organisms diversity. So their habitat loss ultimately affect the food web. Then invasive species. We already discussed about the concept of invasive species, and best example was the water hyacinth. So when we enter the other species, we miss to enter the predators of that species, and ultimately they will become dominant over our original native organism, and they will change the ecosystem. That is nothing but invasive species, and this invasive species entry is also a threat to marine biodiversity. After that, unsustainable bioprospecting. That means when unsustainable, we are not thinking about future generation. There will be over harvesting. As I got the information that this algal protein is very essential, I will just harvest all the algae. That is also not good, because on that algae many other living organisms are also dependent. So this over harvesting, which is the nature of human, that excessive extraction may cause unsustainable bioprospecting, and ultimately that will affect the marine biodiversity composition. Now, marine conservation strategies. First part is in situ conservation, and second will be ex situ conservation. Now, what is in situ conservation and ex situ conservation? In situ यानी on site. There must be preservation of species within their natural habitat. That means whatever actions you are going to take, you have to take that in the natural habitat on the site only. That is nothing but in situ conservation. So you can implement some marine protected area acts, like marine protected areas will be declared. It is nothing but the zone where activities like fishing, tourism, that will be restricted. You have to control that. You have to ban some activities so that their marine environment will be maintained. Like Great Barrier Reef Marine Park, Australia, and Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve, India. In this region, in this marine ecosystem, there are certain restricted areas where all the activities have been restricted. After that, no take zones. No take zones means areas where all the extractive activities are prohibited. Where we have studied about the extraction of biomaterial and biominerals or bioactive compound. So no take zone. That means you cannot take anything from that region. After that, marine reserves. That means area with stricter protection than MPAs. MPA is the region where activities will be controlled. But when beyond that restriction will occur, that will be marine reserve. And last is nothing but seasonal closure. Like I said now, when there is breeding season or migratory period is there, at that time you have to protect that region so that all the species can peacefully do their work, then can peacefully live there, can peacefully enjoy their natural habitat. So these are all the in situ conservation. Second will be ex situ conservation. When we talk about marine conservation strategies, These strategies will be based on the in situ and ex situ. In situ means on site, and that may be done with the some steps like marine protected areas you can declare, no-take zones will be there, marine reserves will be there, seasonal closures will be there. After that, next will be ex situ conservation. That means you have to do something to conserve the marine ecosystem, but that will be not on site, that will be outside the natural habitat. Like marine gene banks are there. Name itself suggests the functions like gene bank, that means storage of genetic material. You can store DNA, you can store tissues that have been extracted once for future use. After that, cryopreservation. Cryopreservation, is there anyone who knows the idea of this preservation technique? Yes. One second. You can unmute.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, cryopreservation is basically preserving process for biological materials like cells, tissue, or organ. This is at a very low temperature we have done. Like in liquid nitrogen, we preserves the sample at around 196 degrees Celsius, so that we
Yes.
can halt all biological activities and prevent damage.
Yes. Yes. Okay, cryopreservation is a preservation technique where we will preserve all our species in a minus 196 degrees Celsius or 192 degrees Celsius, and this temperature is suitable for the preservation for I think 20 to 30 years. There will be good preservation with no disturbance in the genetic composition. So you can go for that also. Okay. After that, okay, there is one more thing. There in cryopreservation, you can preserve the gametes and you can preserve the embryos also. So whenever there will be need for the reproduction, you can fuse these gametes and you can form embryos, and further you can study their bioactive compounds or their biodiversity uniqueness. After that, aquaria and hatcheries are there. When we talk about aquaria, so here we have to take care of the breeding of endangered species, and we have to provide them their respective conditions, temperature, you can say water quality, water nutrient, other species on which they are dependent, so that we will enhance the breeding pattern of endangered species. After that, there is microbial culture collection centers are also there, where marine microorganisms can be preserved and they can be stored, and they will be further useful in our scientific research purpose. Third will be biotechnological strategies. First was in situ, second was ex situ, and third is biotechnological strategies. Like you can say DNA barcoding and metagenomic study you can do. In this, you will just go through the genetic sequences. You can study the phylogenetic tree, to which species, to this species, to which genus, to which class, to which phylum it belongs to. After that, environmental DNA, that is eDNA, non-invasive biodiversity monitoring. This eDNA is always no should always in a non-invasive way. That means it should not be dominating to the other organism. So we have to study that. After that, synthetic biology. Synthetic biology means, like yesterday we discussed about mimicry. So here we will produce the marine bioactive without harvesting the source. We will not touch the source, but we will mimic the bioactive components that are synthesized naturally. And last is bioremediation. That means there will be use of marine microbes, and these marine microbes will be useful for the bioremediation of the oil component, heavy metal component. So, this was all about marine conservation strategies. Now, there are certain questions I would like to ask you. Who will tell me the important aspects of marine conservation? What are the important aspects of marine conservation? Okay. Yes, Jeet.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The important aspects of marine conservation mostly includes biodiversity conservation, that
Hmm.
is the conservation of marine plants, animals, microbes, and also some of the vertebrates, invertebrate species. Second is the
Yes.
habitat preservation, that is
Hmm.
to prevent the destruction of habitat, that is the natural habitat of organisms, in order to prevent the mass extinction of species and from preventing them from getting endangered due to overexploitation or over harvesting or over prospecting activities of human beings.
Yes.
Third is management of the fisheries, that is again to prevent the over capturing of fishes and also other marine organisms
Yes.
that lead to the over exploitation of nature and natural resources, to prevent that. The
Yes.
next is pollution control, that is pollution of the marine environment. Climate change mitigation, that is carried out in order to prevent any kind of human activities or anthropological causes that is leading to the change in climate of the marine ecosystem, which may again lead to the destruction of marine organisms.
Yes.
Next aspect is to declare certain areas as marine protected areas, that is mostly the areas that are vulnerable to human overexploitation, to prevent those areas from getting overexploited or over bioprospected.
Yes.
They can be considered as marine protected areas, and in this case also we can go for international collaboration to enhance the protection parameters
Yes.
for much more strict sorry ma'am, for much
Hmm.
more strict regulations.
Hmm.
Sorry. And finally we can go for scientific research.
Yes. And international cooperation is also important. Okay.
Yes,
My yes, very good. My next question is, which are the threats to marine biodiversity? Major threats. Who will tell me? Okay, Fiza. Hello, good evening.
The major threats to marine biodiversity, as you noticed, was the first one was overfishing, as we are using more resources than required, leads to depletion of forest habitats, acidification, as well as coral bleaching, high temperature, and the rise in sea levels are major causes of marine biodiversity. Pollution, heavy metal pollution, as well
You are
as
not audible, beta.
hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Your voice is not clear.
Yes, ma'am. It's having a little bit of trading audio, so maybe.
Yes, yes, it's okay. It's okay. Just mute yourself. Is there anyone who can tell me the threats?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Avnita.
Ma'am, if we talk about major threat to marine diversity or biodiversity, we faces numerous, but what we took in considerations are like overfishing or pollution, which is causing due to the marine lifestyle or the plastic involvement or some whatever we are as a water
Pollution.
pollution also,
Yes.
and introduction of invasive species basically.
Hmm.
So in overfishing, unsustainable fishing practices deplete fish population, which disrupt food chain and damage marine habitats like what we studied previously about coral reefs and seafloor.
Yes.
And in habitat destruction, it will dragging and destroy or damage critical habitats like seagrass beds and again coral reefs. And
Yes.
pollutions may unlock basically plastic chemicals and excess nutrition release, and we can also take into consideration about fecal matter as well,
Okay.
which is not in our control, and we can't manage it, which is also playing important role in causing pollution. And
Yes.
invasive species is the introduction of non-native species can outcompete native species, which disrupt food webs and alter ecosystem structures as well.
Yes.
And other threats are which we commonly discuss about oil spills and rise in sea level also possess significant threat to marine biodiversity.
Yes.
That's all.
Okay. We will start with our next topic. Okay. Legal and policy frameworks. There are certain, you can say, policy frameworks like UN clause, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. After that, CBD is there, Convention on Biological Diversity. Nagoya Protocol is there, and this Nagoya Protocol, it ensures fair sharing of benefit arising from the marine genetic resources. That means whichever marine genetic resources are we are getting, there should be fair sharing of this all the resources. After that, marine strategy framework directives are there, and they are also very important to framework the policy. Now, which policies are going to framework? Those we will means we will go through that in later phase. But these are all the, you can say, organizations that are responsible to framework these policies or legal implementation. Now, CRZ, that is Indian Coastal Regulation Zone notifications are there. They will also assist the legal frameworking and policy frameworking thing. After that, before going to our actual frameworking, there are certain role of marine biotechnology in the conservation or biotechnology field playing a significant role in the marine conservation strategies like biodiversity monitoring. There are certain group of people or a research institute that always monitor the biodiversity that is present there with the help of eDNA, with the help of genetic composition or genomic study. With the help of biosensors, you can identify which organisms are present and in which concentration they are present, or if they are getting towards the extinction phase, that biosensors can give initial, you can say, information. After that, sustainable bioprospecting, cell culture, microbial fermentation is very important, so that you will not regularly go and extract the natural resources from the site. You can culture them in laboratory. You can use fermenters to uh, perform the fermentation, and you can continue multiplication, or you can go for the cell cycling. Then marine resource database, you can whatever data is getting through these biodiversity monitoring, sustainable bioprospecting, all this data should be preserved in the GenBank and MarBank. After that, restoration tools like coral microfragmentation. There are certain organisms that reproduce by fragmentation, so you can enhance this process. You can create some artificial reef that will mimic the original reef with the help of some biomaterial. So microorganism will just feel their original natural ecosystem. So this is also a restoration tool. After that, emerging trends in marine conservation. So now we discuss about legal and policy framework. There are certain organizations which help in the policy frameworking, or which law you should implement and where it should be implemented, what changes. Time is telling us that there should be some changes in that. This all frameworking is done by this organization. Sorry. After that, UNCLOS is there, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. CBD is there, Convention on Biological Diversity. Nagoya Protocol is there. It always support the fair sharing of the resources. Then Marine Strategy Framework directives are there. After that, Indian Coastal Regulation Zone notifications are there. Then we discuss about role of some biotechnological aspect, so that there will be conservation of marine ecosystem. After that, next subtopic is emerging trends in marine conservation, like blue carbon strategies. Now, to conserve the habitat, we can store the carbon concentration. If carbon is maintained, all the habitat will be undisturbed. And if habitats are maintained, all the organism will be maintained. So this is nothing but blue carbon strategies. Ocean farming, like sustainable cultivation of seaweed, shellfish with minimal ecological footprint. That means we have to cultivate this organism, but we have to take care that there should be minimal ecological footprinting, like all the resources that these organisms are utilizing, those resources you can externally provide that, so that natural habitat should be maintained. After that, for the monitoring of ocean health and illegal activities, you can use AI and remote sensing, because 24 by 7, no one person can monitor the ocean health. So we cannot go personally every time. At that time, AI and remote sensing is very helpful. Then 3D printing of reefs. With the help of biomaterial, you can store the coral habitat. So there will be use of biomaterial, so that you can restore the coral habitat that get damaged. But there are certain challenges. Like if you declare MPS, there should be continuous monitoring that these MPS enforcement should be in a proper way. So lack of enforcement in MPS is also there. At the same time, for the conservation research, there is limited funding, because it takes time, it takes money also. There should be good funding, so that these marine resources should be conserved. At the same time, conflict between conservation and economic interest. Many times it happens that, like, just take the example of algae. We all know that algae is largely present, and you can get good amount of product from algae. So that balance, conservation and money, economic interest, that should be well maintained. At the same time, change impacts, they are very hard to control, and once the damage caused, it is very tough to reverse it. So their impact, you can say impact reversement is very big challenge for the oceanographic researcher. So these are the challenges. So marine conservation, if you talk about marine conservation, it is not always about the protection of ocean. You have to protect ocean, and you have to make sure that there is sustainability of marine biotechnology itself. Your marine biotechnology sustainability is very important. All the genetic data you have to preserve. You have to implement e-banking. You have to implement the culture technologies. You have to do all your scientific innovation with the conservation ethics. Ethics are very important so that marine organism, their protection, ocean's health will be maintained, and your biotechnological aspect will also get satisfied. So this is all about marine conservation. Is there any doubt? Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Done. So we will proceed to our next topic. Yes. Okay. So next topic will be pollution in the marine environment. Now, if we talk about pollution in the marine environment, what pollution is? So, marine pollution, we will talk about marine pollution. It is nothing but introduction of some harmful substances or energy into the marine environment, and that will ultimately affect the marine life, that will ultimately affect the ecosystem, and ultimately human health will suffer. So pollution in the marine ecosystem or in the marine environment is a serious and widespread issue, and all is caused by our activities only. So to deal with that, there are certain steps. We will discuss it in later slides. Marine biotechnology, so marine pollution, it refers to the introduction of harmful substances or introduction of energy into the marine environment, and that will ultimately causes adverse effect on the marine life, their ecosystem, and human health. When we talk about marine biotechnology studies, these studies are very important to monitor the pollution, to mitigate the factors that are responsible for the pollution with the help of biological tools and with the help of other organisms also. So marine pollution, it is not done at the national level. There is always involvement of international cooperation. It is the combination of international cooperation. There will be some regulatory measures. After that, sustainable practices should be performed, and public awareness is also important because ultimate root cause is human activities only. So efforts to reduce and to prevent the marine pollution aim to protect the health of ocean. Why we are going to give efforts to prevent marine pollution? We have to maintain the health of ocean. We have to maintain the marine biodiversity, and ultimately it will be useful for the human communities that are dependent on the marine resources. So this is the introductory part of the marine pollution. Now, what are the major causes of marine pollution? When we talk about marine pollution, major causes are plastic pollution, then oil spill, then industrial discharges, agricultural runoff, sewage and waste disposal, after that atmospheric deposition, then shipping activities are there, underwater noise pollution is there, after that mining activities are there, climate change is also a major root cause, then heavy metal pollution is there, after that land based sources and eutrophication. So mainly major causes of marine pollution include: first is plastic pollution. When there will be improper disposal and inadequate recycling of plastic product, so when there will be disposal of these plastic products or plastic into the ocean, that will lead to plastic pollution. Plastic debris means microplastic, and that may pose a threat to marine life because many organisms will ingest that or entangle marine organism, so it will ultimately damage the health of marine organism. Single use plastics are there, then microplastics are there, fishing net you can say. So these are all the largest proportion of marine litter, and when these plastic material will be ingested by marine animals, they will cause internal injury or death. And microplastic will enter the marine food chain, and when you will consume that fish by the biomagnification process, it will ultimately affect the human health. So this is the first cause. Second is nothing but oil spill. When we talk about oil spill, so there might be oil spilling because of shipping accident, offshore drilling. That means offshore someone is drilling and there will be some oil entry in the marine ecosystem. There might be tanker leakage, and these all will cause harm to the marine ecosystem, and it will cause harm to the fishes, to the birds, to the mammals. This is all biomagnification process, and long term damage to coral reef and benthic ecosystem is also done because of this oil spill pollution. So first was plastic pollution, and microplastic is the major source. Oil spill is the second one. Third is industrial discharges. When there will be release of some heavy metal, some chemical toxins into the river, then river will meet the ocean. These pollutant will accumulate in the sediment and marine organism, and there will be bioaccumulation and biomagnification in the food chain. So one second, hold on. Sorry, we will continue now. Okay. Yes. So, industrial discharge we were about to discuss. There are certain heavy metal, chemical. There is very minimum industries that are located near the coastal areas, but there are many industries that are located near the rivers, and river water you all know that will merge in the coastal ocean. So coastal area, rivers, if there are nearby industries, they were used to. Nowadays it is not the major issue. They were used to release heavy metal, their effluent, chemical, toxic substances into rivers and coastal areas. Now these pollutants will accumulate in the sediment and marine organism, and that will ultimately lead to bioaccumulation and biomagnification in the food chain. Fourth will be agricultural runoff. Now, when we talk about agricultural runoff, there are agricultural land, and you all know that without use of fertilizer, without use of pesticide and other chemical, nowadays farming is not possible. And organic farming is another concept that is preferable, but it is quite costly. So it is not affordable for all the means people. So at that time, farmers use this pesticide, fertilizer, other chemical, and when this pesticide, fertilizer, chemicals, they will just seep in the soil, and they will just eventually they will be run off in the river, and they will ultimately meet in the ocean or enter in the ocean. And this nutrient runoff will be leading to the eutrophication, that is nothing but harmful algal bloom. So there might be oxygen depletion. There will be some dead zones where marine life cannot survive, and it will ultimately cause the pollution. Fifth will be sewage and wastewater disposal. When untreated or sewage or improperly treated wastewater or sewage is discharged from coastal cities, industries, they will there into the marine environment. There will be introduction of pathogens and nutrient chemical, and that will ultimately poor the water quality, and marine ecosystem will be affected. Sixth will be atmospheric deposition. When we talk about atmospheric deposition, there are certain airborne pollutant from the industrial emission, and urban areas they will release some airborne pollutant, and they can settle on the ocean surface through atmospheric deposition. And major causes some entry of heavy metal, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, other contaminant, they will be settled on the ocean surface, and that will affect the marine life. Seventh will be some shipping activities. So shipping activities majorly cause the marine pollution through the ballast water discharge. Now, what is ballast water? Is there anyone who is knowing the idea about ballast water? Yes, Jeet.
Like in submarines, there are some tanks called ballast tanks used to maintain the buoyancy and water depth. And in that tank is basically used for the exchange of water. And sometimes when the water is released back into the ocean or into the marine water bodies, it is mixed up with many pollutants, toxic substances, and this may lead to major marine pollution.
Yes, and mainly ballast water in you can say in simple language. I will tell you, when ship used to start, it used to release some water, and this ballast water, if the ship is coming from the contaminated region or where the pollutants were present, then ship go to the B point from the A point, and A point was the point where that marine water or ocean water was not pure, it was contaminated with some chemical. Ship during the starting phase, ship used to suck, that pump used to suck some water, and when it goes to B point, it will release that water. So there will be entry of A water to the B water, but A water was not pure, it was contaminated one. So there will be entry of the contaminant in the B point also. So this is also a major reason where you can say ballast water is contributing to cause the pollution. Okay. Is the screen visible?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Yes, yes, 1 second. Just 1 second. Okay. I think now it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. So that was all about ballast water. So shipping activities, they are the major contributor to cause marine pollution with the help of ballast water discharge, and that might cause, if that ballast water contains any of the invasive species, there will be entry of that invasive species to new area, and it will release pollutant also, and that might cause the damage to our original native species. So example is Vibrio cholerae transportation is the common in ocean. After that, underwater noise pollution. Anthropogenic underwater noise, mainly shipping noise, drilling noise, naval activities. They might disturb the marine life. Marine mammals, they might disturb the, you can say, communication, feeding behavior will get disturbed. Marine organisms used to communicate with each other. Their navigation will get distracted because the noise that is coming from particular area, marine organism will not go or will not prefer to go to that area. So their navigation will also get affected. Their feeding behavior will get affected because now their original region where food abundancy was suitable for them, but there is noise, they will not go to that area, so they will go to area where there is peace. If in that area that feed is not available, that food is not available, at that time their feeding behavior might change. After that, mining activities, deep sea mining, then coastal sand mining, these activities can disturb the seabed, and they might disturb the sediment stability. There will be entry of heavy metal, pollutant in the water, and ultimately that will cause harm to the habitat, and ultimately that will affect the biodiversity. 10th is climate change. When we talk about climate change, our activities ultimately change the ocean temperature, that might rise. Ocean acidification will occur, ocean current will change, and it will ultimately affect the marine ecosystem. And when we talk about rise in the temperature, there are some coral bleaching activities also. Loss of polar ice also happens. At the same time, altered migration patterns. So there will be change in the migration pattern because of the climate change. At the same time, it will affect the impacts on the marine life. Then heavy metal pollution is also a reason. Due to our activities like entry of heavy metal, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, lead, they might accumulate in the marine organism. There will be bioaccumulation, biomagnification. This will enter in the food chain, and eventually it will affect the humans only. After that, land based sources are there. like agricultural runoff. We discuss pesticides, herbicide, fertilizer. These are used on the land, but because of their entry in the river, then in the ocean, nitrogen and phosphorus level will get increased, and it will ultimately cause the eutrophication. Then there is some industrial discharge, like some heavy metals, radioactive waste, chemical contaminant from the factory. They reach the ocean through rivers. Then sewage water, wastewater, untreated, partially treated, domestic sewage. There will be entry of some pathogens, some excessive nutrient, microplastic in the ocean. So this is also land-based sources. And next, last is the eutrophication. Now only we discuss about eutrophication. It is nothing but the enrichment of nutrient. So when nutrient from the detergent, nutrient from the fertilizer, they get enter in the, you can say, water bodies. This will lead to excessive algal growth. This is also called as algal blooming. There will be lack of oxygen. That is nothing but hypoxia, oxygen depletion, and there will be dead zone. And this will ultimately affect the biodiversity and fishery resources. So this is all about today's session. Is there any doubt? Okay. So tomorrow there will be class at 11. And I'll share these PPTs on tomorrow only. That will be our last lecture. So be ready for the question answer session. After that, we will discuss about all the syllabus we covered in the summer internship of 15, actually it is for 30 days. And in 15 days, we will discuss what we have learned about the marine ecosystem. Okay. So be ready for all the question answer session, and we will complete the syllabus also.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, like last week you have provided us with the assignment. This
Yes.
week assignment also you will give, or that was the...
No. I will give assignment on I will give it on Monday or Sunday only. Tomorrow
Okay,
only I
okay.
will circulate that assignment. So you will complete it by Monday, and after that I will make the assessment of yours on
Okay,
the
ma'am.
basis of both the assignments. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. Bye then.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.